Good morning, everybody. Today is 40 days. This is the 40th video that we've produced with these morning meditations. I'm sitting out here in my front porch with a nice tall cup of coffee, just taking it all in. It's kind of strange, right? Been doing this is like kind of becoming normal now. But today we're going to be looking at the parable of the narrow gate, or the narrow door. And you can find this parable in Luke chapter 13, verse 23. And it comes right after Jesus' description of the kingdom of heaven that we talked about yesterday. How he talks about the mustard seed and the yeast. And then right after that, somebody in the crowd asks Jesus, will only a few people be saved? Will only a few people get into heaven? And he doesn't respond with a direct answer. He doesn't say yes or no, but instead he gives them instruction. And he says, make every effort to enter in by the narrow gate. And then he goes on to say that there will be many people who try to enter in, and they will, and then there will be more people who try to enter in by some other way, and they won't be able to. And then he uses this analogy of this banquet, this feast that's going to be happening, and how people will try to enter in, but the person who opens the door is going to say, I don't know you, and I don't know where you came from. Away with you, evildoers. And that the people will respond by saying, what do you mean? I mean, we heard you teaching in the streets, and we ate with you and drank with you, and, what do you mean you don't know us? And then he goes on to explain more about how there's going to be this deep sorrow and this gnashing of teeth by the people who can't get in when they see Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and everybody in their feasting. So first, in order to understand the parable, you have to understand the context, which is Jesus speaking to a Jewish audience. And he's using Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob at this banquet as the illustration that in order to enter in and have that relationship with God, the entire dynamic has changed from everything leading up to this point in Jewish history. Prior to Jesus coming on the scene, it was very much about the law and the prophets and the intercessory prayer of the high priest, sacrifices, and things like that. But everything has changed fundamentally. Jesus is here now. God has come and is with us, right? And so in order to enter in, there also has to be a fundamental shift in the way that we approach God. And so the people who were with Jesus, eating with Jesus, listening to his teachings, seeing him in the streets, they were observing him and being with him socially. But there wasn't a depth to their relationship. There wasn't an authenticity where they actually entered in and had anything authentic with him. And so by the nature of not having a relationship with Christ, they couldn't enter in to this banquet. They couldn't enter into this kingdom of heaven that he was just previously talking about. Okay, so how does that apply to us today? Well, it's kind of the same thing, right? There are a lot of people who are Christians on the outside. They do a lot of things externally. They might tithe a lot. They might serve a lot. They might do a lot of things, but they're doing them in some ways to maybe try to work their way into heaven. It doesn't work that way. And so the same message applies to us. If we want to experience a deep connection with God, there has to be a fundamental shift in the way that we approach God. We can't just study and learn and think of God intellectually. There has to be a heart knowing as well. So maybe think about that today. Maybe think about the way that you have come to understand God and your relationship with God. And also, how we take verses of the Bible like this one and we make Christianity, we kind of weaponize it sometimes and make it very exclusive. But the door is open. So let me know what you think. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And I'll see you right here tomorrow for number 41. I love you.